Hello everyone, happy April 2nd, day 15 of our Facebook yoga practice. As I speak, come into your breath, sit still, be natural. This again will be an adult 60-minute yin type of class. I'm again calling this a bit of a Vinyasa yin. We will be holding the poses, but we'll be moving. I may even call it a Hatha Vinyasa yin, but nonetheless, it is slow and restorative. Yogi has decided to join us for the class, and he apologizes in advance should he decide to bark and scare the living bejesus out of everybody. As you continue to breathe very deeply, get that sensation of the balloon in your belly. Where is its proximity upon your first noticing breath? What is its periphery? And when are you able to feel it so full that you are up, rising into the barrel of your lungs, and feel that sideward movement? Finding and filling, not just filling, finding and filling every pocket, creating space with every breath as your rib cage expands, starting from the very lowest all the way up into the chest, the sternum, the clavicular regions, the thoracic, the throat, facial cavities, filling space, crown of the head, finding that sensation of lightness, openness, energy, whatever you might feel, or possibly nothing. No judgment, no expectation, just breathe. Start with the base of your diaphragm, feel the balloon in your belly, and work your way up. Breathing is the key. Master your breath. The universe will bow down to you. Keep a strap or a block nearby. You will be needing them. Let's take about a minute or two for alternative nostril breathing. So Shodhi Nadi Pranayama, bending the right arm in. And if you have not done this before, let me demonstrate first. If you have, please go ahead and begin your first round. We will take the right thumb, pressing it into the right nostril, inhaling completely through the left, closing left, opposite, open, and exhaling. Again, trying to expand your exhale to be twice as long as your previous inhalation, and every subsequent inhalation a little bit longer than your last. So keep that same breath. And now with the opposite nostril, so your right nostril open. Once you get to the top of your breath, switching, and exhale opposite all the way down. And again, extending your breath, trying to make it twice as long. Exhale compared to the inhale. If you're sick, this is going to be tough. If you are congested or have allergies, this is going to be tough, but this is a very effective hemisphere balance. This is a very effective nasal passage cleanse. And if you're really tight, go and blow your nose or pause me and use a neti pot. Of course, a beautiful way to cleanse your nose. Use warm water, a little bit of salt and ghee will do the trick. Before you know it, you'll have spaghetti noodles in there. Keep breathing nice and deeply, following your breath, inhaling. Closing, exchanging, and exhaling opposite. And now you can even hold your breath, a bit of Upaka, breath retention, both on the inhale and the exhale. For more advanced practitioners, do feel free. Taking your last round, or rather finishing your last round, wherever you may be. When you're ready, removing the hand. Just feel the effects on the body of just 2 quick minutes of practice. Your next exhale, removing the hands from the knees. Inhale, arms up, palms facing upward, elbows open, shoulders down, all of the joints opening as we lift, tips of the fingers touching, and exhale. And again, as we come down, everything is stretching. We're not passively just lifting and dropping our arms. Every muscle is activating. And again, slower than the last. Inhaling up. Feel the shoulders now really driving down the spine. And exhaling down. Whether you are holding gases, solids, liquids, whatever you have forcing against your physical body, inhaling up. Treat it with the same virtue. Treat it with the same strength. And exhaling down. Stop halfway, flip the arms up, holding here just for as long until you feel the resistance, until you feel your body wanting to give in and drop down. And if you don't feel it, good. Keep stretching outwards. Imagine someone is pulling on each of your fingers, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders. Relax the legs, relax the feet, relax your bum. Stretch out the neck, or you can stay here. It works on the skin that tends to kind of sag down around those places. So holding out here is going to help with that. A little bit of elasticity in the muscles. Otherwise, let's stretch out the neck. So bending the left arm in, left fingertips, finding the right temple, turning the right palm downwards, exhaling, finding the floor, tenting or flattening the palm, tenting the fingers or flattening the palm, nodding yes, chin to the chest, that positive mantra, rolling through, making sure not to lose your posture. Sitting up nice and tall is 80% of the benefit of these initial sitting postures. 3 or 4 times on one side, and inhale. What we do to one side, of course, we must always do to the opposite side. Encouraging symmetry in the body, tenting the fingers or flattening the palm, chin to the chest, breathing deeply. As you inhale, you lift. As you exhale, you come down. Flexion and extension, finding space a little bit more, a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. All of your comparative adjectives. And on your next exhale, arms out to the side, and exhaling, arms down. And just lifting. We're not going to fold here, but just lift. Keeping the shoulders down, and maybe just kind of move side to side. Getting a nice upper body kind of twist. And let's exhale. Flatten the palms down. The fingertips can be pointing away from us. Legs up. Knees bent, and we're coming to a windshield wiper. We'll stay nice and lifting in the upper body. So that means we are continuing to lift in the hip. And if you want to come up even a little bit higher, go ahead. And exhaling down. Inhale out as we lift, and exhaling as we drop. And if you're stretching out again, that becomes your next inhale. Don't hold the breath, but really open the front of the body. Pay attention as well to that nice massage on the lower back, the sacrum, the coccyx, tailbone, Kundalini region. And on your next exhale, or rather inhale, or whatever breath you happen to be on when you move, let's come into our first yin position, and it will be the butterfly. So you can choose either butterfly or a more diamond-shaped position. Feet, soles can be nice and tight to each other, And if the legs are feeling dangling, you can use blocks, pillows, bolsters, anything that's going to kind of help. Or you just let the legs flail out. If that's a little bit uncomfortable or inaccessible, let the legs come out until you find your space. We're going to hold this for 3 minutes, so find a good space. Find 70% of your edge of that space. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down. And with a nice straight back, reaching, reach, and exhale, coming down. We will hold this for 3 minutes. Let the head hang down. Let the crown of the skull face towards the ground, towards the feet. And breathe. Feel the wave of oxygen across your back. As we move through these positions, the body may feel stress, not in the traditional way of mental stress and busyness, but that stress of moving through positions that may not be comfortable or natural, but that physical stress, and in fact, staying with it, staying with the breath in that stressful, allegedly stressful time, will not only help to open the physical body, but to reroute past neural pathways, creating new neural habits, new muscle memory, a deeper fascial release. And all of these things have a profound impact on how you experience your day, how you experience yourself. It's 2 minutes into this position, feeling the effects on the body now. By now, there is a deep phase change happening within the body. Your joints are releasing chemicals, hyaluronic acid, the nectar of youth. Drink in this rejuvenating, energizing practice, and let it sift into each of your cells, for indeed this is a cellular rejuvenation practice. Because it is truly a breathing practice. Any physical effect that comes from yoga is a pure coincidence. Yoga is ultimately a breathing practice. That's 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So when you are ready on your next inhale, slowly rounding up, keeping the chin down, head down. That's the last thing to come up. Tilting the spine, coming onto the tailbone, lifting, slowly coming up. And we'll come into something that kind of an extended V. So hang on to the knees and just let take this off so you can see a physical form underneath. It's a touch chilly and blueberry today. Hang on to the knees and just kind of let your tailbone round, and don't let go of your knees. So wherever you find your edge or your place where you can go no more, keep the shoulders pressing down. That's where, just kind of rock there. That's where I want you to stay for a moment, just putting a bit of a counter movement on that forward bend. Now stay here if you're feeling super chill, or if you have wrist issues, or if you just don't want to come up into a more difficult position. I do encourage you to do so, though. We're going to come into a reverse table. So when you're ready, fingers palms planted, fingers pointing towards the feet. Make sure that your feet are nice and parallel. Femurs are lifting, raising. On your next inhale, we're going to lift and press into the palms and soles. Inhaling up, pressing shoulders down, really lifting and extending your vertebrae. Feeling the stretch in the shoulders, the hips, the knees. And again, if you have sore wrists, you can always do this on your forearms. Breathing nice and deeply. We won't hold this for too long, but we are going to use this to come into a reverse sitting pigeon position. So when you're ready, left leg first. Let's lift the left nice and high. Doesn't have to be straight. You can do a few ankle circles or just bringing it down, crossing it over. Let's take a minute just to open that leg. Keep pushing into the hands. That first knuckle takes the weight. And when you're ready, let's exhale, coming down. Make sure the ankle stays on the outside edge. Okay, and we're going to hold it here just for about a minute. We've seen this position in so many different ways: sitting, standing, upside down, inverted, prone, supine, and of course sitting, just like this. Now, it is a hip opener, so make sure that the rest of your body is not overcompensating for the hip. If you need to extend this leg a little bit, even bringing it down, that's fine. But do aim for heart center lifting, tailbone dropping downwards, and this bent knee opening, constantly opening. Remember, if we were sitting on the floor, we want that knee to be down, touching the floor. That's what's going to open the hips. So hold this for another breath or two, depending how long your breath is. And of course, if you know the Ujjayi breathing technique, do activate it now or at all times in your yoga practice. It is a deep sort of Darth Vader type of breathing. When you're ready, we are going to release this, and rather than coming into more of a flow today, we'll do the same thing right on the opposite side. Before we do, just let your knees fall to one side and the opposite side. And when you're ready, coming into the opposite side. So inhaling, crossing it over, finding your position. We will hold for 1 minute. Noticing any differences between the left and the right without judgment, without expectation. Just fall into this position. Now, hips and shoulders, that's the target, that's the culprit, that's where the energy, stress, life experience goes. That's the dense tissue that is able to hold not only your bones together, but also the experiences of your personal life and the collective human history. Our DNA means something. It's not just biology. There are physiological things happening. There are things happening on systems that we don't have any way to measure for. One such is likely the frequency at which we vibrate. Yoga is one of the many activities that helps you increase your vibration, which is truly what is sorely needed. And taking another deep breath here when you're ready. Inhaling up, lifting it over, and again you can let the legs kind of fall to one side, whatever feels comfortable. You might also want to bring the arms up, give them a little bit of a circle, a little bit of a shake. Now we are going to come into a standing position. Now I guess I should have warned you at the beginning. We are actually going to be standing today, not for long, but with the spring coming, with the days lengthening, with our immune systems strengthening, I thought it would be appropriate. So in order to get there, let's come through a squat. Now, again, people will have varying degrees of comfort with squats and varying abilities to do so as well. But I would encourage you, if you're sitting on your side, simply begin to lift one leg. Start like this. Just hanging out, just chilling, just hanging out right here. And if that works, do the same thing on the opposite side. So bring your legs into a nice ladylike, feminine, I shouldn't say ladylike, nice feminine. And just bring it up. And you can keep, the pressure on both knees. That's quite good, right? And of course, this is endless. Well, it's endless until your knee gets to the other side on the floor, which is pretty darn good. I'm not going to go there tonight, but just there. Now, imagine doing both sides together. So if you're able, and if you're not, keep doing that rotation. Otherwise, bring your feet up. We will keep them toes pointing out at a 45 or so degree angle, and just shift the weight, lift the balance, bring the knees and the elbows together. So elbows to the inside of the knees, really dropping down your tailbone. Everything falls. Palms together, lining up the fingers. Let the spine lengthen, and we will hold this. For a few breaths, not quite 1 minute. And again, if you're not comfortable here, you ought not be here. You're welcome to stay. And if you would like to take it to the next level, of course, you can bring the palms down and just start to let the knees fall into let the knees fall into the elbows, let the weight of the body tilt forward. It's all about the palms and the weight being on that first knuckle. That's key. You also need to develop something that's called like spider fingers, where you are lifting just, ask gymnasts or people who do a lot of arm balances. You have to actually kind of spider your fingers in order to really get the balance. And here we are cheating. This is not a real Bakasana. This is an easy one. The real one has the knees into the armpit. And please do feel free to do that if you like. But otherwise, let's come into Vajrasana. So knees together, ankles together, and just take a moment to sit. Releasing all of that pressure that just happened. You can let the upper body just sort of rock back and forth, even bringing the belly down a little bit towards the thigh. Stretching out the front of the ankles, so just lean back. If you're comfortable here, bringing the arms up. And of course, you can always stick something underneath if it's really not comfortable, but you like the feeling. Not everyone does. A lot of people do find it a torturous position. And rolling onto the bottoms of the feet, so curling the toes. Don't forget about the little piggy one. And putting that weight. And again, if you want to play with that, you can as well. We're not going to come into another squat right now, but of course, a lot of different squats, a lot of arm balances that come from those squats. And that takes us into higher levels of Ashtanga, of course. And I'm ready to go there, but just not in this practice. Okay, so here's where we stand, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're ready, just coming into a forward bend. So coming through, almost through a tabletop, and just standing, leaning back. Okay, so if your hands are on the knees, ankles, the feet, the ground, wherever they may be, and you can use a block here, you can use things to help you, to support. You can keep a bit of a bend in the knees as well, a micro bend, or a macro bend for that matter, if you would like to release your back. So experiment with that for a minute. Just really bend your knees, let the abdomen come on the knees, and feel how the back just completely releases. Of course, you can bounce around there, let all those kinks fall out. Beautiful. And now if you kind of straighten the legs and focus on, well, the legs, you'll get a deeper stretch in the legs, but the back might start to kind of tense up, which is fine. And with the legs, kind of roll the femurs in and out. Okay, I go this way, you can kind of see as you're rolling them inward and outward, inward and outward. The soles, of course, don't lift, but you've got the skin. You feel, it's where you really feel as well, like the connection between the systems of the body. You don't just take it for granted that we're just one big sack of meat. But indeed, we are living, breathing, conscious, magical creatures if we just relax. On your next inhale, we're going to rolling up, vertebrae by vertebrae, keeping the head down, chin tucked into the chest, shoulders down, and all the way up. As we start to come up, oh, that's okay, you don't need my head right now anyways. Inhaling and stretching back all the way. And then exhale, forward fold again. Okay, so in this forward fold, let's bring our elbows together and ragdoll ourselves. So it just means to kind of put a bit of a bounce, hanging the head between the arms, hands hanging onto the elbows, just bouncing here. Feel the waves rolling along your spine. Keep your breath very deep. On your next exhale, let's let the hands come down. And again, if you need one block or two blocks, and you don't need to be standing straight, you can kind of be in a little kind of downward dog situation. As long as you've got connection with the ground and the ground in your hands as well as the feet. So we're going to inhale, lift the left leg up. And exhale, cross it behind the right leg. So the ankles are kind of crossed. And walk the hands to one side. Try to keep the hips facing forward, toes facing forward, or at least twisting to one direction. And upper body twisting to the opposite direction. Feel the twist from your fingers all the way through the back of your arm. You don't stretch that often, do ya? Feel that. Back of your arm all the way again down the back. Now, do you feel how it's all connected? That is one fascial line. So it's not all the same muscle from the tips of the fingers down to the outside edge of your hip, but you still feel it all. So your fascia is moving together. Let's move to the opposite side. And again, breathing deeply into the side body. Letting the head hang down. And relax. Trying to keep the legs straight, strong. But keeping a micro bend in the knees, or a macro or a meso as you may need. And inhale, coming back to center. And lifting the back leg up and bringing it down. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So lifting opposite leg up. And exhale, crossing it behind the ankle and walking the hands all the way to one side. However far you get is exactly where you need to be. Not where I am, not where anyone who is beside you is, not where you were yesterday, and not where you will be tomorrow, and not even where you will be if you did this position again at the end of the class. Every second, our cells are in flux. We are changing. We have and we hold the potential. We just have somehow forgotten. What a miracle, our conscious being of living life in a breathing human being. Exhale to the opposite side. And release. Feel the weight in your sole of your feet. Feel rooted in your sole of your feet. And inhaling to the opposite side. Stay standing just a little bit longer, ladies and gentlemen. Step out as wide as you feel comfortable. And angle the toes inward slightly. Okay, that'll deepen the stretch. And ooh, even just a little twist in the hips, and you can feel so much release, So maybe just kind of give a little bit of a, oh yeah, whatever you need. And when you're ready, let's find our ankles. So hands to the, well, I say ankles, I meant thigh or knee or shin or calf or toes, or even if you want to put some blocks on the outer side, and whatever place you find, but just stretch it out to the side. Again, getting all those places that we don't often always get. And as I said, I know we're standing today. It's our first stand, so if this is your first time joining us, well, we are on day 15. Please join us for the entire journey. Or otherwise, now let's bring the arms out to the side in a half forward bend, arms out. And again, we're reaching down with the chest, opening all the intercostal muscles, fingers stretching, wrists are lengthening, everything. Your spine is lengthening, finding space between your vertebrae, breathing the balloon into your belly, relaxed. And when you're ready, arms forward and exhale down. Wherever they fall, walk the fingers forward and imagine someone's pulling on your hips, pulling you back. So those two forces, forward and pressing down and backwards and lifting up, breathing into this lengthening position, breathing into the back side of the body. Push into your feet. Where's your consciousness? You know this from the side gate positions where we did a half standing. Your consciousness is on the outer edge of your feet. So push that place and feel the rest of those sleeping muscles activate. Sleeping Beauty. Activate. Wake up. And pushing everything that's touching a flat, hard space down. There's power in pressure. On your next inhale, walk the hands back. Now here, we're going to come in, so the arms are going to be bent. We're going to try to get the top of the head to the ground, or however close you get. So exhaling down. And again, pushing into the hands, into the feet, and pushing into the head if you are able to. Keeping the legs straight or bent with a micro bend. This one does have a little bit more force, so really keeping your breath nice and long and deep. And on your next exhale, let's bring the hands back, palms facing down, so thumbs to the outside. And again, walking your fingers as far as you can go. And breathe. Push into the outer edges of your feet, opening the backs of the knees, feeling the shoulders relaxing. And when you're ready, inhale forward, stepping the feet together, and just hanging. And as a point of transition, we'll step out one more time. If you need to give the legs a little bit of a bounce before you do, it's absolutely fine. Otherwise, stepping out. And now as we reach back, we're also going to then turn our fingers forward. So as we turn our fingers forward, we'll start to bend our knees and find a place to sit and just be here. We can do a lot from here. We can come into an arm balance, many kinds of arm balances. We can work back into a Vinyasa. Try to be here if this is comfortable. If you do want to take it a little bit deeper, you can just start to walk your feet inwards. And again, try to get the tips of the toes touching. Keep pushing into your hands. Remember, it's your first knuckle that takes the weight. Breathing very deeply. And when you're ready, we're simply going to find ourselves onto our bottoms. So however you find yourself there, exhaling down, inhaling arms out to the side, legs out to the side. And we'll come into another yin position. So inhaling, arms up, shoulders down. tips of the fingers touching, and exhale, straight back, forward fold. Whether you find the knees, the ankles, we are going to hold this straddling Tadasana, or excuse me, Paschimottanasana, again for 3 minutes. Feel the wave along your back, feel the balloon in your belly, and just focus for the next 3 minutes on your breath and extending and lengthening and just counting. In fact, you may want to count backwards. It may be a little bit more of a concentration task, and if so, begin at number 47. And count backwards all the way to 0. And if you so lose your count, return to the number 47. And counting backwards, inhale 47. And exhale 47. Inhale 46. And exhale, continue along this way. That's 1 minute. We're going to hold for a minute longer. Find your edge, 70% of your full capacity, and let time, stillness, and gravity open those deep fascial tissues of your body to relax. Your legs are relaxed but active. Heels moving away from you, toes moving towards you, knees pressing into the back of the ground, femurs rolling open, groin area or that pelvic floor pushing in to the earth. And of course, the arms lengthening, heart center opening. Feeling the wave, the breath in the back of your lungs. Rolling along your spine. Taking your last few breaths here. And on your next inhale, when you're ready, rolling the spine up, vertebrae by vertebrae, pressing the hips backward, curling the tailbone under, and lifting, feeling where you lock, feeling where you might get stuck. Chin is the last thing to come up, and just feel that. Legs do a little bit of a bounce. Bouncy, bouncy. Bring them together. We're going to come into a block reverse position. So whether you have a block, a bolster, a pillow, or even if you're just kind of coming into, if you don't have any of those things, you can be in a chair and with care, of course, kind of flailing around that. I won't demonstrate. Adjusting your block to be anywhere. We are going to start with it in the upper shoulders. So again, legs can be straight, they can be butterflied, they can be straddled, whatever you feel like. I'm going to straighten mine. And wherever the arms kind of relax easily, that's probably where the block should go. So you can feel it's right around the same spot. It can be on, low, medium, or high, depending on your availability and your comfort. If you also want some neck support, you can put something back here. Otherwise, you can let the effects of facial yoga and reverse gravity be felt along your face. Otherwise, find that space between the shoulder blades. Make sure it's comfortable. We're going to hold it for 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. You can inhale and just kind of play with it. Oh, yeah. You'll feel when you got it exactly. And take your time. Don't rush into it. And if it takes you 3 minutes to kind of feel where the best place is, that's okay. You're kind of prodding around. Once you're there, just stay there. And breathe. Paying attention to any sensations moving through the body. That's about halfway. So we'll hold it for the same amount of time more. And just observe the body. Paying attention to the sensations in the bottom of the toes, the feet. Breathing into the balloon in your belly, lifting your physical form, making you softer, heavier, melting into the earth. And letting go. Another few breaths in this position. And of course, if at any time you feel discomfort, please remove yourself from the uncomfortable discomfort. And when you're ready, very gently starting to bring the head up, chin into the chest, using the elbows, shifting the weight forward, removing the block. And we are going to come into our rock and roll. So knees into the chest, making sure there's no casualty causing conditions behind you. And again, you can kind of set the tone with a nice slow pace by lengthening out the arms first. Just melting into the vertebrae. Melting into the tailbone, the lower back, the seat of the Kundalini region, energy. Or you can start to roll. And, oh yeah, pay attention to where you get locked or stuck. Try not to be forceful, but rather just adjust your knees, whether they're further away from you or closer towards you, to get a deeper roll, right? Keeping them out will just kind of let you roll around here. Nothing much. But hey, nothing much, that's where it all happens, isn't it? Or you can tuck them in, and by nature of tucking them in, you're just going to create a more spherical space in your spine. So whichever one you prefer. We are going to come now onto our backs completely. So when you are ready, coming down and 2 legs up. Take a moment here. Feel the blood traveling back towards the core of the body. Feel the pressure in the lower spine, the lower back, the tailbone, getting into the glutes. And of course, you can adjust your feet a little bit more and feel where the pressure is changing. Just play with that. Minute movements. Millimeters in the body make miles in the mind of space, of potential. Keeping your straps nearby, or you may not need one. You are going to stretch out the legs a little bit in this position. So again, if you are using a strap, let's use the left leg first. So left leg up, right leg can be straight or bent. And of course, if you don't need the strap, try to let the arm lengthen, opening the eyes, the elbow, the shoulder, letting everything kind of fall together so it's its own little contraption of levers and pulleys. And all you have to do is provide that counter force and counterbalance. So bringing the right arm out to the side, and wherever you feel, oh, I'm going to have an interference pattern here. Trying to keep shoulders and hips on the ground. Oh, good. It's almost perfect. And just find your edge. Find that place where you are hanging. And again, if it's really painful or you don't want to hang, look at that. There's a block right there. Magic. Right? Block, pillow. And if it's a little bit higher, you can put it under your hip. Wherever you may require or desire. Or you may just want to hang there. I kind of like just hanging. See what happens. If I were with you, of course, I'd push my hand down on your opposite hip. So do be sure to check into the opposite side of your body. It's relaxing, it's heavy, it's weighing you down. Breathing deeply. And let the eyes of the elbows and the backs of the knees open. Very complex joints. The knee being the most complex joint in the human body, of course, requires great attention. Where our attention goes, energy flows. As everything happens twice, first in the mind before it can even begin to be fathomed in the body. And then, of course, it doesn't just have that 1, 2, buckle my shoe grand finale. It's kind of this ding, goes back and forth, and that sounds probably unnecessary at this point in the practice. So when you're ready, we're going to inhale, lift that leg, bringing both hands up, switching the leg over. And if you're using your hands, bring your hand to the outer edge of the foot. If you're using the strap, just switching the feet. Now here, inevitably, the hip is going to lift. If you do want to just hang out here, that's also great. Fine, you're getting the blood circulation reversal. Otherwise, you can start to come into a twist. And turning to the opposite side, shoulders should be grounded. Hips can be lifted, or one of them. Opposite arm grounded. So again, we're going to hold this for about a minute. Being very sure to keep your breath, your diaphragm, that balloon in your belly now does not give in. You have been working this for 48 minutes. You have expanded with every breath, getting bigger, softer, lighter. Now, as we have our first twisting, stressful position, you will lose your size. It doesn't work like that. Keep it deep. And if you lose it, come back up, because your edge then is here. Otherwise, really challenge yourself, because yes, you're right. They're very different. Oh, look at that. That's a nice little way to land too, isn't it? Isn't that fantastic? Just how that happens sometimes. Wherever you may so find yourself, breathe into the position. Looking in the opposite direction. This is also a fantastic lower back release. So if you do want to focus more on the lower back, you can let the arm kind of let up, give in a little bit, or just kind of hang out somewhere that's more comfortable. You don't have to bring that resistance. And if you do that, you'll feel the corresponding release in the upper back and a little bit more targeted lower back. Whichever you may find to be more comfortable, taking one more breath here. And when you're ready, inhaling, lift. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So when you're ready, lifting well, let's take both legs maybe up first, giving them a bit of a shake. Feeling the difference. I feel I can't even straighten mine in the same way. So let's do the opposite leg. And again, you can always start with the strap and kind of slowly deepen it or slowly loosen it. You want to deepen probably. But if it is painful, come out of it. Don't force yourself. And paying attention to any differences that may have happened in the side. Is it tighter? Is it looser? Is it more relaxed? Is it heavier? Without judgment, without expectation. Just breathing into your pose. Remembering you have a balloon in your belly. You have a barrel in your rib cage. And you have an open sky in your face. Breathing very deeply, letting go of any tension, tightness, be it physical or mental. And when you're ready, let's lift it up. Inhale, coming all the way up, up and over. Arms reaching in the opposite direction. And your legs, of course, can be adjusted along the floor. They can be closer to the toes, closer to the feet, can be closer to each other. Or your feet indeed could be likely someday up at the top of your head. We're all probably somewhere in the middle. Wherever you find yourself, breathing deeply into your lower back, to your sacrum. Keeping the diameter of the belly expanding. Taking a few more deep breaths here. And when you're ready, inhale, coming all the way up. And exhale, both legs up again, giving them a bit of a bounce. Again, bouncing to get the circulation moving, but also to get that pressure in the lower back. You can do a few circles with the legs. The knees can be bent, that's fine. And play with that expansion of the circle. Make them bigger, smaller. And let's take a few minutes here, actually. We don't often take a few time here before our Shavasana. Just feel that rotation. Small circles with the knees and larger circles. And of course, you can always extend your legs, making it nice. A little bit more of an abdominal workout. Yeah, okay. But a little bit simpler, a little bit yin, with the legs down. Now, before we come into Shavasana, let's get the blood to the head. So come through Halasana into Shalavasana. So plow to shoulder stand or an inverted of any kind. So inhale, don't bounce. Bring the toes towards the head. You can relax here for a minute. You can interlace the fingers. You can walk the hands together. You can bring them up. There's a variety of things you can do here. You can take it deeper. We're not going to hold this for too long today, just as a point of transition, unless you would like to stay here. And when you're ready, inhale, left leg, right leg, or both legs in a nice pike position. Either way, let's stay here for as long as you're comfortable. Let's try for about a minute. And breathe. And again, you can use a block here, if I have one. Or you can be on a wall as well, or you can kind of just put a block, pillow, something, just kind of resting here. And again, you're going to get that nice pressure on the lower back. And arguably, this is kind of a different position, but this one's pretty good too. I like this one almost more for the immediate physical kind of massage effects that it gets. Both of them are, of course, working on your circulation, but you don't really, feel, oh yeah, my circulation feels great today. Do you? I don't know. I'm not that in touch yet. Maybe. But you do know when your muscles feel good or when your bones. You see where I'm going with this. Continuing to breathe very deeply. If you do have a block or any kind of prop or support near you, don't forget as you come down, we don't want to cause any pain or injury. Otherwise, in the next few breaths, you can start to lower your feet down again, back towards the head. Arms coming down and slowly rolling. And you don't have to roll, all at once. Just let the body unpack itself. It kind of wiggles down sometimes. And you'll really feel here where there's imbalance in the spine or if you've got any vertebrae issues or slipped discs. And of course, if you do, this may not be accessible, and that's fine. Feel free to message me or open a conversation. Or Google it, of course. There's wonderful resources out there. And let's just slowly start to bring the legs back down. Trying to keep the focus on your abdominal muscles. You can even bring the arms up to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on the upper arms. And let's release, coming into Shavasana. Hold. And breathe. Staying here for as long as you like if you are not in PST time zone. And if you are not in PST time zone, you are welcome and feel free to turn down the volume and stay in your Savasana. Otherwise, if you are in PST, we're going to stay here for just another breath before we begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, turning the head to the right and the left. Or, of course, if you are in PST and do want to stay in Shavasana, you're welcome. Bring the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. And when you're ready, coming on to the right side, releasing the heart muscle. Taking a moment in this fetal position to thank all those who have helped you. Send your love to those who are suffering. Keep what you need for yourself. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, coming up to a comfortably seated position. And for the 7 o'clock commemoration, I Om along with you, and I thank you for your energy. And as we close the practice, thumbs into the sternum, feeling the rhythm of our hearts, in tune with the rhythm of the universe. When you are ready. Atma Namaste. Thank you very much for your time, your energy, and your practice. Remind yourself you are not the emotions, you are not the mind, you are not the body. You are the light. You are what is, what was, what always will be.